I'm going to show you step by step how I created a solar marketing agency with $0 just sending text messages for them. Okay. And I'm not going to make this drawn out intro. Here's the cool thing is I used to knock door to door. I used to knock and sell solar. And one day I was on a blitz. I went home and I wanted to close a couple deals. I had a whole bunch of phone numbers and I decided to send a text message blast. I sent a big old text message blast, ended up booking 10 appointments, closing 3 deals over Zoom. And that was when I realized, oh my gosh, I could send text messages to book appointments and then close deals over Zoom. And then I realized I could do this for other solar companies. And that's what I started doing. So I'm going to show you step by step that process. Let's just dive right in. If at any time you get any value from this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments. And if you comment, I will actually send you a link where I give away a free course and how to set all of this up step by step, all the details. You can have all my automations. It's not a course I'm selling or anything like that. Absolutely free. I'll give it to you if you write a comment. Let's dive right in. The very first thing that you are going to want to do is set up like a basic spreadsheet like this. I don't know where you hold your contacts. I used to have them all in the notes on my phone, and then I started moving them onto a spreadsheet. If you're working with companies, a lot of times I actually started pulling leads from Sales Rabbit. You can download a CSV. And if you start a spreadsheet like this, you can actually, if you download a CSV file, you can hit import from CSV and it'll bring it all right into here, into the spreadsheet. And then you can move it into the automation software that you use to send the text messages. But I like to tell everybody first, everybody that I've worked with, first, get your contacts, get your names and your phone numbers and your email addresses. If you have the email addresses, get them first on a spreadsheet, because that is going to be the very first step you're going to want to do. Because then once they're on a spreadsheet, I'm going to hit file, I'm going to hit download, I'm going to download it again as a CSV, but I want it nice and clean before it goes into the automation software where I'm going to be sending the text messages. The next step is going to be very simple. We're just going to want to get the contacts into the automation software. Then we're going to want to set up the text message, and then we're going to want to send the text message blast. So here's the software that I use to make that happen. So here's the software that I use. Some of you are probably familiar with it. It's called GoHighLevel. I've been using this software since 2019, helping businesses automate little portions of what they do. So this is the very first thing you want to do is, if you're doing this for yourself or you want to start a marketing agency for solar company, for any company at all, the very first thing you're going to want to do is get your contacts or their contacts into the system. So right here, I go over here to contacts. I'm not going to go over all the rest of this quite yet in this video. And then I'm going to go over here. I'm going to hover over this one, which this one says import contacts. I'm going to want to click import. I'm going to hit upload a file. It's going to give me the options of which file I want to upload. I'm going to follow the prompts to upload the file, and I'm going to hit next, next. Boom, and it's going to upload the contacts into here. So I have Sam Taggart, I have Will Ellermitz, and Danny Pessy. Oh, I spelled my buddy Will's name wrong. Sorry, Will, don't get mad at me. And what I'm going to do, what I would do then is I would select all of their contacts, and then I was hitting the very first message blast that I sent. I just hit send SMS, and I just wanted to send one message to everyone. And it's going to say search by phone number. I don't have a phone number connected to this one, so it's not going to actually let me send. But I reached out and I was like, hey, and the cool thing is you can use custom fields here to where it's like contact, first name. So if their first name's in here, that's why it was important to have the spreadsheet where it's like first name, last name, phone number, email. Because when I set up the text message, I don't want to have to put in every single person's first name. And so it's like, hey, contact first name. I spoke with you not too long ago. This is Austin, and I am reaching out as promised. Are you still open to the idea of putting solar on your home? And there's definitely some ways to make this a little bit more personalized. If you happen to fill the spreadsheet with addresses and stuff, you could actually put like contact's address where it says, hey, are you still open to putting on your home at, and I could say contact address if you happen to have their address. That way it looks like you're writing it out one by one. And then I could hit send all at once, or I could drip it out depending on how many you're sending. I usually like to send one text message at a time, like every minute, just so that I don't get flagged. And then I have to hit an action, add text. And then I would hit send SMS. Boom. Then it would start sending all of the text messages to all my contacts. And what's really cool is everything is combined into one area where all of my text messages, my emails, everything is combined in this one spot to where I can see the responses that people are coming in. They're saying, yes, no, I'm interested, maybe later, leave me alone. All of those, it says unsuccessful because I don't have an actual, this is a test account and I don't actually have a phone number set up with this one. This is where all of the communications would happen inside of the conversations. And what's really cool is if you just messaging back and forth, you have a calendar and you can set up a time, you can send them a calendar link, you can set up a link in your calendar and say, hey, here's my booking link, set up a time, or you can just set up a time, messaging them back and forth on here. And like I said, you can connect your Facebook, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your text messages, your WhatsApp. Everything can be communicated through right inside of here. And then you could actually filter out, like I'm talking through email, SMS, Google business page, live chat, WhatsApp, Facebook calls, voicemail, Instagram, everything comes through right here and you're able to communicate in and out. So that was my first step, was I got all my contacts on my spreadsheet. Second step was I got them all plugged into the automated system. And then the second step was I just sent them all a text message blast and literally sat here just texting people from this platform in my chair. And I think I sent out about 500 text messages. I had been on a couple blitzes and I don't know about you guys, but I used to collect a lot of phone numbers. If someone would tell me no, I would say, is it okay if I follow up with you in the future just to see if anything's changed? They would say yes. And I'd say, cool. Are you 830 or 485? And they'd be like, oh, I'm 830. And I'd be like 830. And then they would give me their phone number. Excellent. Is it cool if I follow up in like maybe 2 or 3 months to see if anything's different? And I would collect a lot of phone numbers from people. So that was when I did the text messaging for myself, and I sent out a simple blast and then I would just respond to people. The cool thing is inside of here, you could set up reminders and tags, and over here, you could set up different reminders, tasks for yourself. So I could add a task to, hey, follow up with this person on this date or this date, and I could get an alert. I could put in notes that this person said to follow up for Christmas. They are on vacation. So I was able to sit there and, like I said, use text messages to book appointments and then keep them organized through the opportunities platform, where basically I had set up a pipeline that was keeping all of my contacts organized. So that was how I was doing this for myself. Was I would send a text message blast and then I would mark these people soft no, hard no, moving, moved, warm, and then once I decided, hey, I think like I had this down to a science, I was like, you know what? I'm going to build this out. I could set this up and I could do this for companies, because what I knew is that companies had these large amounts of data in Sales Rabbit and stuff like that that weren't being followed up with. People that would no show, people that would no close, people that gave permission to follow up and reach out, but weren't getting reached out because we were running the blitz model. And every single person was like, every single closer, every single setter was like, go on to the next area. And so none of these people were getting followed up with. So here's the cool thing is, once I started doing this for like myself, I was just sending out text message blasts. But then when I started doing it for companies, I started building out these automations, where that's what's really cool about this system is I could set up automations based on if people were responding. So let's go to my database reactivation campaign and SMS reactivation for Texas and Oklahoma. Now, the biggest thing that I wanted was I wanted the text messages to go out automatically, and then I wanted people to be filtered automatically based on what they said. So I've got people that said, yes, positive intent, no, not right now, wrong number, we have stopped, they didn't respond, none. And then it would just filter them all out so that I only had to talk to the people that were interested. And what was really cool is when I started my agency is I could just plug in the solar company right into that inbox where they were able to communicate, or their admin or a setter was able to sit there and text and talk to the people that were only interested. So that was the service. A mentor of mine always said, who are you going to serve? What problem are you going to solve? So I chose, I was going to work with solar companies, and then I was going to solve the problem that none of their leads were getting followed up with. So this was my solution, was I was going to reactivate their database of older cold leads. And I just basically built out a filter of people that were interested at some point. And the message was very simple to them. The message just said, hey, contact first name. This is Austin with company name. You spoke with one of our team members last year. I'm just doing as promised and reaching out. Are you still open to the idea of putting solar on your home? And that was it. And then the machine just waits for the reply, and it goes, and then it would just filter. And then then that machine would start to populate this pipeline, soft no, hard no, moving. And so that whole machine that I just showed you would start filtering people inside of this pipeline here, and to where I could come in here at any time and see, okay, I've got people that are warm, they need to be followed up in a month, they're hot the next 30 days, hot, need to call within 24 hours, just based on their response to that first initial text message. Okay. And the coolest part about it is everything was happening right inside of this conversation tab. Now, when it came to finding customers and then charging them for this service, that actually became a little bit easy. What I would do was I would reach out to solar companies and I would say, hey, do you use Sales Rabbit? Do you use Active Knocker? I would tell them that, hey, I have a machine that takes your older cold data and it turns into new appointments and new revenue. Are you open to taking a look? They would say, absolutely, yes. And I would say, cool. Here's the cool thing is I'll book 10 appointments before you pay me a dime. How does that sound? They would say, absolutely. I would give them everything that I needed to get it set up. I would get a contract set up saying, hey, once I book you 2 appointments, this is going to be my fee. And the coolest part about this software is I never had to leave. I could go over here to the payments tab and I could create a document or a contract right inside of here. I didn't have to use like Panda Docs or eSign or anything like that. I could create a contract right inside of here, new document that, and I could create the signatures and all of that, and I could have it sent over to their email to where they have to sign it, they e-sign it, and they would just agree, hey, if you book us 10 solid qualified appointments, then we'll pay your build out fee and then whatever my terms were for continuing to work with them. And then the cool thing is that my payment system was all set up inside of here too. Again, this is just a testing, this is just a account that I give to solar companies with all of the stuff already built out in it. So I don't have any products listed in here, but I would create a product and then I could create an invoice and I would send them an invoice of, okay, so now they sign my thing. Then they would automatically get an invoice of the payment. Once that payment was received, I would then send them an onboarding form of, hey, this is all the stuff that I need to get your account set up. Then they would send me a list of their contacts. I would get their contacts plugged into the system. I would start running their contacts through the SMS campaign. It would start to filter. Then I would get a bunch of people saying yes. And then there would be people that would actually book from the automations. They would just book a 15-minute call. I would pass those 15-minute calls to the company. Sometimes I was actually taking them and then setting up an appointment myself. But the machine was doing all of the work. That's how I started my agency. It was a very simple way for me to take something that I had already done that I knew was working and create $2,000 to $5,000 a month per customer in semi-passive income. You plug the contacts in, you send the text messages out, you wait for people to reply, and once they reply, then you can filter them out based on if they're interested or not. Now, you can do this one at a time on your phone. That's perfectly fine. But I wanted a way to automate the process so that it was a little bit more simple and I could then charge a company to do this. Here's the cool thing about solar is you and I both know that any solar deal could be worth $5,000, $10,000 to a company. I know solar companies that were paying anywhere between $200 to $300 per qualified appointment. So I knew that if I asked the solar company, hey, if I booked you 10 appointments, how many would you close? They're going to say at least one. So if I book them 10 appointments and they close at least one, that would cover the initial startup cost to begin with. So it was a win all the way around. So that is step by step how I started a solar marketing agency, just sending text messages for those companies. Now there's a couple other different products that you could set up, but that's the one that I started with, was just sending text messages. Now here's the cool thing. If you are interested in doing this for yourself, or you're interested in starting your own agency and setting this up for different companies, I have free training step by step. And this is something I would usually charge $2,900 for this course, but I'm going to give it to you absolutely free. I'm going to give you the step-by-step how to get everything set up inside of the software. I'll even give you the automations that I built out. I'll even give you, if you're planning on starting an agency and you just need like a fancy, a decent looking website that says, hey, I use artificial intelligence to turn your older cold data into appointments. I'll give you the website. I'll give you start to finish how I started and created my marketing agency, and I'll give it to you absolutely free. If you make a comment, and I'll send you the link. And like I said, I'll give it to you absolutely free. I have nothing to sell you right now. I believe the link is actually in the description. It's automateabusiness.com/free training. The training is there. Everything's for free. The only thing that I'll ask is that you do sign up for a 14-day free trial of the software that I use. Once you sign up for a 14-day free trial of the software that I use, I give you everything, the training, the automations, the landing page, the website, everything absolutely free. Again, nothing to sell you. I hope this was helpful. If you have any comment and if you have any questions, just put them in the comments and I'll make sure I get back to you as soon as possible. You guys have a great rest of your day and I'll see you soon.